Well, good evening again. I just want to share a simple thought I've had for the past couple weeks since preacher kept bringing up the difference between our Christian values and secular world values. I thought this would be first going to start off with the question, do you believe that good and evil exists? The answer to this question separates Christian values from secular values. And let me offer the clearest possible example, murder. Is murder wrong? Is it evil? Nearly everyone will answer yes. But now I pose a harder question. How do you know? I'm sure they think that murder is wrong, but how do you know? If I asked you, how do you know that the earth is round? You would show me photographs from outer space or offer me measurable data. But what photographs could you show? What measurements could you provide that prove that murder or rape or theft is wrong? The fact is, you can't. There are scientific facts, but without God, there are no moral facts. In a secular world, there can only be opinions about morality. They may be personal opinions or society's opinions, but only opinions. Every atheist philosopher that I've read about or I've heard debated on this subject has acknowledged that if there is no God, there is no objective morality.
That's right.
Christian values are predicated on the existence of a God of morality. In other words, only if there is a God who says murder is wrong, is murder wrong. Otherwise, all morality is just opinion. The entire Western world, what we call the Western civilization, is based on this understanding. Now let me make two things clear. First, this doesn't mean that if you don't believe in God, you can't be a good person. There have been plenty of kind and moral individuals who don't believe in God and Christian values, but they are still good people who do what is right.
Yeah.
But the existence of these good people has nothing to do with the question of whether good and evil really exist if there is no God. Second, there have been plenty of people who believed in God who were not good people. Indeed, more than a few have been evil and have even committed evil in God's name. The existence of God doesn't ensure people will do good, which it did. The existence of God only ensures that good and evil objectively exist and are not merely opinions. Without God, we therefore end up with what is known as moral relativism, meaning that morality is not absolute, but only relative to the individual or to the society. Without God, words like good and evil are just another way of saying I like and I don't like. If there is no God, the statement murder is evil is the same as the statement I don't like murder. Now, many will argue that you don't need moral absolutes. People won't murder because they don't want to be murdered. But that argument is just wishful thinking. Hitler, Stalin, and Mao didn't want to be murdered, but they hardly stopped them from murdering around over 100 million people. It is not a coincidence that the rejection of Christian values in the Western world by Nazism and communism led to the murder of all these innocent people. It is also not coincidence that the first societies in the world to abolish slavery, an institution that existed in every known society and human race, was our Western societies rooted in Christian values. And so we're the first societies to affirm universal human rights, to emancipate women, and to proclaim the values of liberty. We are the first society to fully believe in the moral values that are given to us by the Bible, and believing that murder is wrong. But now that we are in these later years and close to the end times, we have grown further and further away from these values.
Yeah, we have.
So it's time that we start to go back to them, to stand firm on them, that we may not be separated from God, that we may grow closer.
That it? Well, tell us, that's good. You did a great job. Prepared real good. Give us just a brief summary of what you just said.
Well, for anyone else comes up here like Tony, anyone else comes up here, is something that Brother Shiny said, or Cousin Shiny said every service. If the Bible itches you, scratch it.
Yeah.
So
that was neat, wasn't it? Yeah. Cousin Shiny theology. Yeah.
It was a great service. The skit was about making history. Cousin Shiny was visited by three spirits, or three people. The young version of him showing the past of American history. Mm-hmm. The present him showing him what's happening right now. And then future him showing him what could happen in the future.
Yeah.
What is still to come. What is possible right. For even Cousin Shiny's kids, for Tony Shirley's kids, mm-hmm. for anyone's kids to be leaders in the church, to be preaching, to be leading music, to be playing on the piano. Mm-hmm. There are many things that are still yet to be done, are still going to happen, but it's only from what we do now will help provide a foundation for those that will come after us.
That's right. That's right.
And Friday night, Brother Mark Shroud preached on the prodigal son, about what the devil didn't tell him about the far country, and as well as what the devil didn't tell him about the Father, which was an amazing service.
Yeah. And
it was Saturday morning. His brother Steve Cox preached on when the Israelites were rebuilding the temple, how it wasn't like it was before, how the people who were there when it was first made, how they were crying, and the people and the other people who was the first. Yes, some cried, some shouted. It was a great service overall. And Saturday night, Brother Charlie Clark preached on giving pretty much the whole Bible. He went everywhere. It was the first year I went to youth rally. He preached out of 162 verses.
Did he really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then,
I can imagine.
But he's definitely a great preacher, and he preached on giving your life to God and understanding the difference between good things that are for you and things that are of God's will.